So there's a few disclaimers before we dive into this list. Giannis played power forward all last season, so I'm going to consider him a 4, not really a 3. Jimmy Butler, we're going to consider him to be a shooting guard. And I know there are some confusion in terms of is LeBron going to play power forward next year or whatever. I'm going to consider him a 3 because I don't feel like thinking that hard. Kevin Durant is number 2 behind him. Number 3 is still Kawhi Leonard. Hopefully he actually cares about playing basketball in Toronto. Number 4 is going to be Paul George. And then finally, at the 5th spot, we are going to have Gordon Hayward. Okay, now this becomes a lot more interesting looking at number 6 through number 10. The first guy we're going to look at, actually before we do that, also considering Ben Simmons to be a point guard, and then a couple other wings. One is Harrison Barnes, who's been playing power forward since he arrived in Dallas. And then we also look at Tobias Harris, who has been playing the 4 spot since 2016. So, not considering these guys small forwards, trying to give this as much order as I can. Finally, Jayson Tatum at number 6. The dude was way too good for a rookie. Usually rookies don't know how to flow within an offense, can't beat NBA defenders off the dribble consistently enough outside of the bad defenders of the league. And then also, they're not supposed to be just smart players. Jayson Tatum's 19, 20 years old, and the dude played like he was already in the league for 5 years. And he actually showed up in the playoffs. He did not have a deer in headlights moment in the postseason. He was a big piece of the Celtics getting all the way to Game 7 of the conference finals without Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. So we think that he's just going to keep on keeping on. And sure, Bill Simmons thinks he's going to end up being the best player in the league eventually. I don't think I'm going to go that far. But could he end up being one of the 15 best players in the league? I could picture it. I don't think that's going to happen this season, but if we assume he's going to get to that level, then it would make sense that his second year sees some improvement, maybe improving a little bit as a playmaker, perhaps even being more efficient than he already was. Perhaps his usage rate will be a little higher. Safe to say Jayson Tatum's going to keep on keeping on. Next, Chris Middleton, a guy who has just kept on getting better throughout his NBA career. Now he's the 6'7" dude who is a pretty effective two-way player. Now he does sometimes get a little too carried away offensively. Sometimes he steals the offense to post up or take 6 or 7 seconds off the shot clock. He's not really a natural playmaker at all, so if there's some obvious switch on the floor, it's not a guarantee that he's going to always catch it, and he might choose to shoot the ball instead. But we can't deny that the dude put up 20 points a game on some pretty okay efficiency while being a at least average to above average and sometimes pretty damn good defensive player, and he was amazing in the round 1 series against the Celtics, and I was terrified every single time he shot the ball. So Chris Middleton's pretty good, and he's up on this thing. Next, we look at Brandon Ingram of the Los Angeles Lakers. I have been pro Ingram pretty much since he got drafted. I know some people hopped off the boat just because he couldn't make a lot of shots in his rookie season, but I looked at all the other things: the rebounding, the passing, the ball handling as a wing player, the fact that the dude's grown to apparently 6'11", and he's only 21 years old or whatever. Ingram's very versatile. And now that this Lakers team has more talent and it has the best player in the league on his team, I have to assume things are going to be a little easier for him now. He could get a few more open opportunities, and things should just go pretty okay. Hopefully his shooting can become a real thing moving forward. I mean, his percentages are good, but he doesn't shoot that many, and I assume LeBron is going to get him some good looks, so we'll see what happens with Ingram, but I like him, man. I can picture Ingram at his peak being like a 17, 18-point guy. I don't know if he's going to be a big-time scorer at this point, just because, the shooting is what it is. But, I mean, rebounds, playmaking, defense, team-first kind of guy. I like Brandon Ingram a lot. I really do. Next, Otto Porter. He doesn't miss. If Otto Porter does not have multiple 50, 40, 90 seasons by the time he retires, then that's going to be kind of weird, because the dude already shoots 50% from the field like it's not even a problem for him, and he can comfortably shoot over 40% from 3. And it helps him that he's got John Wall on his team, who is, of course, one of the best passers in the league. But when you're just a great shot maker like Porter is, you're always going to have value, you know? I even think he's been creeping up a little bit defensively. Not saying he is where you'd want him to be, but I think outside of that one Shaq in a Fool moment, he's been pretty good. I guess what you would want from him is to be a little more of a creator, look for his shot a little more often. That would be great, but even if he's just going to be a 15-point dude who just makes every single shot he attempts, then that's pretty good as well. Otto Porter's a good dude. And now we're going to look at a couple names before we go to number 5. So, Covington, damn good two-way player, was pretty bad in the postseason, to the point where I think he's maybe not as smart of an offensive player as we would like to believe he is. Andrew Wiggins should be on this list. He is way more talented than a decent amount of the guys that I've already named ahead of him, but unfortunately, we know what it is with him as an NBA player. Now, I would love to put my favorite player, Iguodala, in here. Unfortunately, he pretty much just shows up in games 6 and 7 of the conference finals at this point. So, I don't know. Can I put you in the top 10 when you're super valuable for 2% of the season? It's kind of weird. But I can go with one of my other favorite players and the internet's favorite player, the God, Joe Ingles. Like, is he as athletic as Wiggins? No. Is he as talented as Wiggins? No. But he is a much better shooter. He is worlds better as a team defender. And he also puts up like 5 assists a game. And by the way, he did average a hot like 15 and 5 in the postseason, with Paul George defending him at least sometimes. So let's not act like Joe Ingles is just this 7 points per game dude who advanced stats love. Like, the guy can actually get you some buckets, and you can run some real offense through him. So Joe Ingles, also known as the legitimately good Brian Scalabrine, he's at number 10, man. And nothing in this world could make me happier.